When you're dating a man, you really like him, things are moving forward, you want to move in together. Do not, under any circumstances, have him move into your home. That is going to be a polarity disaster. It is going to cause so many problems with attraction, number one, but also with finances. There's going to be almost certainly arguments, resentment, a lot of hurt feelings, and you're going to likely be the one that gets screwed over. We're going to talk about why this is, why this happens, what you should be doing when it gets to that stage where you want to move in together, so that you can maintain the polarity that you have in your relationship, where your man is stepping up to lead and he is taking care of you, and you get to relax more rather than getting more stressed out, which is what typically happens when you let a man move in with you. Before we get to it, I'm going to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Zach Rohde. I am here to lead you into creating the relationship of your dreams, using your feminine energy and what I call feminine communication to inspire a man into cherishing you. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, make sure you do that below, hit the notification bell, and be sure to like this video because, of course, I'm going to make sure it's a good one for you. Okay, I have dozens, literally dozens of stories that women have told me, different women over the years, women that I have worked with, that have been clients or that have come on discovery calls with me to be potential clients, who have told me about what they are experiencing or what they experienced when a man moved in with them. Before we talk about some of those experiences, it's important for me to very briefly explain how it is supposed to be when you and a man move in together. And this is assuming, of course, that you're moving in together with the man before marriage rather than after you get married, which is what is now typical today. There's actually a good argument to be made for moving in with a man only once you get married, but we're not going to be talking about that argument today. So the way that it would otherwise supposed to be if you and your man move in together, is you guys have been dating for a while, you're really liking each other, you're like, wow, this could be the one. Like, I think that this is it. Let's move in together and find out. Let's make sure. And by the way, if you are moving in with a man, if you're moving in together before marriage, make sure that your man is on the same page and he's planning on marrying you. Otherwise, you're just going to end up wasting your time. But again, that's going to be one for a different video. So you really like each other, and then he invites you to move in with him, or invites you into a new place that you move in together. And then the way it should ideally be is that he is the one that is paying the rent or paying the mortgage, or if his mortgage is paid off and he has a home, that he's just managing everything, paying the property tax and everything. And he is financially taking care of you. And the reason it is supposed to be this way, first of all, the man is supposed to financially provide. Energetically, the masculine provides and the feminine receives. From a more practical aspect, understand that he is basically paying for your time. If he wants to find out, like, is this the woman that I want to marry, then he needs to be responsible for that decision by financially providing for you when you move in together. Once you guys are married, assuming that you continue to work for whatever reason, then that can shift, because now it's your money together, right? When you're married, you merge everything together, or you should anyway. Otherwise, I don't know what the point of getting married is, if you're not becoming one in all ways. But before that, he should be financially providing. He should be taking care of you. And to the feminine, to a woman, that should feel really good. Now, I'm going to assume I'm not talking to gold diggers here. You're not a gold digger. That's a different kind of issue that I'm talking about. I am just talking about enjoying receiving, because it is a form of love. When a man wants to financially take care of you, when he wants to pay for bills, when he wants to make your life financially easier, that is him saying, I love you. I care. Well, not necessarily I love you really early on, but I care about you enough. I value you enough to want to financially take care of you. And then you can receive that as love. Like, wow, he really cares. And to a man who is in his masculine energy, it's going to feel good to give a woman that gift. It's not because he's obligated. It's not because like, oh, I'm a man, I'm supposed to. It's because I love taking care of my woman. Okay? And that is how I feel. Like with my wife, she's a stay-at-home wife. She doesn't have to work. She doesn't ever have to work again. I love financially taking care of her. I prefer that over her having a job, because I have an opportunity to take care of her in that way so that she can focus on doing whatever she wants to do, which at this time it's taking care of our daughter and other stuff, but especially taking care of her daughter and being able to be a stay-at-home mom. So that's the way that it is supposed to be. And when that is happening, a man is in his masculine instinct and he's in that masculine role providing, and the woman is in her feminine instinct that's online and she is receiving. Both feel really good being in that role. But now flip this around. Let's say you've got your own home. Now you might be renting it, or even worse, if it's worse in this context, if you own it and you're paying off a mortgage or something. He now moves in. When he moves in, is he really going to feel like the man? Is he going to feel like the king of the castle? Is he going to feel like he is in charge? Or is he going to feel more like, oh, I'm kind of a guest in her house, in her castle? That's not the way that it should be, because he's going to feel more timid, like he can't be the one that is in charge, setting the expectations for how things are going to be. A loving man is going to be in charge in a really loving way, where he is providing the space for you to take care of you, right? So the expectations as well, whatever is happening, they're all his, and he feels really good about that. But if he's the guest energetically, he's going to feel more like a boy with his mommy, right? Mommy's house. And what happens when a man is energetically more a boy? Well, he's going to act more like a boy, which means not being nearly as responsible, not really wanting to take charge of bills and other responsibilities when things break down, that kind of thing. And you're going to feel more like the mother. You're going to be more in that mothering role, which isn't going to feel very good for you. I'm going to pause for a moment before we talk about some of my clients' experiences. If you are liking this video at this point and you are still here, then be sure to like this video, give this video a like, and be sure to subscribe to this channel, because I got so much more good content for you. I got literally hundreds of videos to take care of you and show you exactly what you need to be doing to show up in a way to inspire a man to really want to take care of you, to step into that masculine instinct and adore you and lead you with love, devote you the way that you need. So definitely subscribe to this channel. Okay, so my clients. In my academy program, I have worked with hundreds, literally hundreds and hundreds of women. Many of them are single, many of them are in relationships. Some of them at least are divorced or started out divorced. Some actually got back together, so separated, got back together with their man because of us. But lots of problems that they are experiencing in their love life. And it all boils down to being depolarized in some way, not knowing how to stay in their feminine energy and how to use feminine communication to inspire their man or a past man, men on dates if they're single, into cherishing them, into choosing them, into providing for them, into wanting to make their life easier. They don't know how to do that because of trauma, because of wounding, because of horrible childhood experiences, because their parents were bad role models, because their parents didn't hold space for them to feel and to share their feelings. They didn't teach them how to communicate in a feminine way. And so they end up recreating these negative experiences over and over again because they're attracting the wrong kind of men and then attracting the wrong kind of behavior from men. And one of the ways that a handful of them have done this, the ones that are in relationships or often a past relationship, is they had their man move in with them. So typically these women already have patterns, either like big doormat patterns where they allow themselves to be taken advantage of and they don't speak up, they're not fully connected to their needs, or they're in a more really masculine energy, kind of over functioning, over giving. Actually, any kind of giving is over giving for a woman because you're supposed to be receiving. So more in that really mothering energy. So man moves in. So of course the man that they have attracted is probably more feminine, more emasculated, not fully in his masculine instinct to lead and take care of a woman. And so what happens? I have heard of stories where the woman is basically, like, this is the worst case, basically. The woman is paying for everything. She's still continuing to fully pay for her mortgage or her rent, and the man is kind of just like a guest. And, at best, maybe he's paying for the food, maybe like a utility bill or something like that. By the way, I used to temporarily, for a little while, be that man. This is way prior to my marriage. I was just a bum. I was a Peter Pan, and I would find women that put up with me, so lower self-worth women, and I would stay with them for certain lengths of time, not even in an exclusive arrangement, and basically use their free rent and everything so that I could go live my lifestyle. I sucked. Like, I really sucked. And this is the fact that I sucked so bad as a man and was so out of my devotional instinct to the feminine. It actually gives me a really fantastic perspective of these types of men and why women are tolerating men anywhere like me at all. Like, it's not like I was a total loser. I was very charismatic. I was very, just energetically attractive, at least in certain ways, very confident in myself. That's why women that lacked self-worth would put up with me in the first place, tolerate things that they wouldn't tolerate with other men. And those men exist. And many women have also compromised their integrity, their heart, to stay with a man like that by doing things that they shouldn't, by engaging in non-exclusive relationships with them, by having them move into their home, by seeing them only once a week or once every 2 weeks, and all kinds of other things. This is a side tangent, so I'm not going to get into this, but don't tolerate that crap. Do not tolerate men like me, the old me. You deserve so much better. You deserve a man who is cherishing you. You deserve a man who is wanting to provide for you, who wants to make your life easier, who is in the caretaking role. He was there to take care of you. Do not believe that you deserve less than that. I'm here to reprogram you. Okay? This is important. My videos, of course, I give you information about feminine communication, about how to show up differently, all of that. But a big part of what these videos are all about is reprogramming you, reprogramming your self-worth, telling you things that either you've never heard before or at least never heard in a way that you could truly understand, so that you can start to realize how amazing you really are, how much you really deserve from a man, how much you are in low self-worth patterns to create dynamics that are way less than you deserve. And then, of course, yes, some information about how to shift them as well. And by the way, on that note, before we go more into these client experiences, if you are wanting help, not just from these free videos, but if you're wanting professional expert help where me and my team take you by the hand and show you how to make these shifts, teach you feminine communication, hold you to an expectation to help you let go of control, open up, be vulnerable, feel all of your feelings vulnerably, learn how to interact with a man, starting with us, in a way that inspires care, naturally, effortlessly, not by being someone you're not, but by being who you really are underneath the fear, underneath the self-judgment, underneath the shame, then I would love to help you. Let's find out if you are right for our Academy program, where we help you make these shifts. And the way that you're going to do that is by booking a free call with me, a discovery call, where we talk about what's going on in your love life. We talk about what you need to do to shift, why you haven't made the shifts that you need to make, what's holding you back, and then I give you some feedback about exactly what you need to do, give you some actual coaching on that, and then we find out, okay, is the Academy right for you? Can we actually give you the kind of results that we expect from our students? And if we believe that it is, fantastic. We get you into the program and we help you start making these shifts right away. If you're interested in that call, go below this video, open up the description, you're going to see the link to relationshipyourdreams.com. You click on that, you watch the video on that page, you book, there's a big button below that to book a call with me. And then we'll talk. And we'll find out if you are right for this program. And you can, I don't care what your current beliefs are about yourself, how stuck you are. We work with women who are relatively extremely stuck, and then ones that are, they just need some, they want to make their shifts happen much faster. You might already be making a lot of shifts just from watching these videos. We want to help you make these shifts as quickly as possible. And if that's you want to make your life a lot easier, you want to make these shifts happen way quicker, way easier, much less painfully, then book that call, relationshipyourdreams.com. Okay, so clients. So I've been talking about how clients invited men like the old me to live with them, and it turns out like a disaster, because now they are paying for most or all of the expenses. They feel like a mother. They get more burnt out, and the man just feels like apathetic. He doesn't feel that desire to take care of his woman. And part of this is because he doesn't feel their self-worth. The more that a woman is stepping into this provider role, into this mothering role, it's because of low self-worth in the first place. If a woman fully realized how worthy she is to be taken care of, she would never tolerate such a dynamic. She would never suggest such a dynamic, and she would never enable such a dynamic in any kind of way. So it's women who are not fully in their self-worth that tolerate this, and the more that they are in that role, the less self-worth the man can feel from her, and then the less attracted he is and the less inspired he is to want to take care of her. That's not what you want. We've also, and I have also, seen situations where it's kind of more 50-50, like the man moves in and he's like paying half the rent or half the mortgage, something like that. That happens as well. So that's less bad. Definitely less bad. At least the man has some sense of responsibility and integrity instead of being a total bum like I used to be. But it's still depolarized, right? It's kind of like now we've moved in and we're roommates together. Maybe you're not feeling so much like the mother, even if it's your place, but it's like, hey, we're both kind of splitting bills here in my place, and it feels like like he's a tenant in some kind of way, and I'm still kind of, I'm a roommate with him. You don't want that. That's where the attraction is going to start to die. That's where the honeymoon period is going to fall off a cliff. There is the possibility, I should mention this, there is the possibility, theoretically, like the man that I am now, let's say that I was single again. It's like, something horrible happened to my wife and I'm single again. And I'm like, okay, I meet this amazing woman and she's fantastic, and I decide, hey, I want to move in together. Like, let's make sure that we're the right ones for each other. And let's say, hypothetically, she has this amazing dream house. It's like the perfect dream house. And it's like, this is actually where we would definitely should stay, right? I don't want you to give it up. And I don't even want you to, because the other option is like she could rent it out for a while and then we could stay in another place. But like, let's say she had kids and I had, my daughter, and it's like, it just makes so much sense to move into this house together. This is like the best case scenario. It's like, okay, well, we don't want to give up this house. I am going to move in. If that were to happen, I would pay for everything, whatever that is. I'd be like, I am fully going to take over all of the bills here, whatever the mortgage is, and you just get to have a easier life. And then when we get married, let's say she's working, well, we would figure it out from there. But I would take over all of the expenses, and I would want to, not because I am the man, because I enjoy taking care of a woman, and I'm not going to enjoy it if she is taking care of herself. And if she's still working, I'd be like, we can start saving a lot more so that when we're married, we can figure out what to do with it. I mean, like if our incomes were similar, let's say, and her income was actually somewhat relevant to our total income. So that's what I would tell her to do. And I'd be like, hey, if I am moving in, understand, I'm going to be the man of the house. It's going to be, my rules, my expectations. I'm going to be here to take care of you, financially and otherwise. And yes, this house is legally yours until we get married or, figure that out. But otherwise, I'm going to be the one that's in charge, and you need to be okay with that. And if she's not okay with that, not only would it not be, like, I wouldn't be willing to move in, I probably wouldn't choose to be with her, because she's not submissive enough for me. She's not trusting enough. She's not able to let go. She doesn't want to respect me in that kind of way, to that level. So that's the trade. It's like, yeah, I want to provide for you, not just financially in other ways, but I'm the leader. I'm here to take care of you. And so in that context, in that specific situation, it could work. So it's not like it can never work. It's not like it's always 100% a bad idea. There still would be a small compromise in the polarity, because it still wouldn't be as polarizing in this dynamic than if it was her moving into my house that I have. But because I am relatively quite polarized in my masculine, and if I had a woman who is relatively quite polarized in her feminine, it's not going to be a disaster. But in most cases, it will be a disaster. 9.5+ % of the time, it's going to be somewhere between total train wreck disaster and really this has caused issues. Somewhere in between there. You got to decide, is that going to be worth it to you? I don't want you to suffer. I don't want you to cause yourself pain out of ignorance because you didn't know any better. I know so many women. I have so many clients, and I also have I've literally had well over 1,000 conversations with different women on my discovery calls. Like, I've seen everything. I've pretty much heard everything. I've heard of things way worse than what I'm talking about right now, as far as abuse and being SA, horrible things that have happened to women. And I want to set you up for as much success as possible. It's so important to me that you have, even if you never work with us in our program, in our academy, even if you never buy anything from me, not my books or Masterclass or dating course or anything, I want you to have a much better love life. This is how the world becomes a much better place, is by us individually choosing to change and grow and be better. And for a woman, there's just so many women who are settling for less than they deserve because they don't recognize what they are worth. They haven't been taught. They haven't had this role modeled to them. And so they end up in these really difficult situations, like a man who lives with, you live with this man and you're paying most of the bills or a lot of the bills and you're feeling all burnt out. And the other thing I should say is, in a lot of these situations, this is where it gets tricky, right? It starts out fine, and the man was initially paying for half or even more than half, and then he loses his job. And now what happens? Well, now you're taking on the financial burden. And a lot of the time, because he kind of has it easy, like he doesn't have that kind of sense of responsibility, he just coasts. It's like, play some video games, I'll eventually find a job. There's no rush. Or like I've tried, I put out 100 applications and I still can't find, so I kind of just give up. He wouldn't give up if he was by himself and it was between keeping his house and living in a gutter. But because he's got you, because he's got mommy to take care of him, he's going to allow you to enable him to be lazy. There's a very high chance of it. There's a very high chance of it. And the more wounded you are, the more wounds you have, the lower your self-worth is, the more likely you'll pick a man who will do that. The more likely you will pick a man who will do that. And so I've talked to these women who have spent months and sometimes years with this man who is just not stepping up. And then oftentimes, like, the apathy turns into depression because now he's totally outside of that role of taking care of his woman. He doesn't really understand why he isn't feeling great. And so he just gets depressed and lazy, doesn't step up. And what happens to the woman? She gets more burnt out, more stressed, more resentful, more frustrated, and oftentimes, like, she's has children, either his children or someone else's children, And she just starts to hate him and hate herself and hate her life. And unfortunately or fortunately, it was her that got herself into that situation. It's fortunate because if it's her getting herself into that situation, that means she has the power to get herself out of that situation and to not do that in the future. I don't want that to be your future. And if it is your current reality, I don't want it to be your current reality. If it is your reality right now, or if if it has been in the past, then you'll probably be compelled to do something like that again. And you've got to look at why this has happened and what you need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again. How are you going to make sure it doesn't happen again? Well, first, just don't put yourself in that situation. Just say that you can't do that. Now, of course, you should use feminine communication as best you can. Don't suggest it to a man like, hey, you want to move in with me? Never do that. That is not only is it a bad situation to get in, but now you're also leading on top of it. A lot of these cases where women got themselves into this situation, they were actually the one that initiated the relationship in the first place. Not all of them, but a reasonable amount of them. So it's that masculine energy that's causing all of these problems from the get-go. Don't initiate, don't suggest it, and if he suggests it, use feminine communication to communicate what's coming up for you. Ask for help with your feelings. Share the feelings that are coming up. Real feelings, not judgments. Real feelings, like anxiety. Anxiety should be one. Share what the problem is. Share what the fears are. Using feminine communication. And see how a man responds. And if you're brand new, if you haven't seen any of my videos, when I'm talking about may I please have some help with what I'm feeling? And the man's like, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm feeling lots of anxiety. Oh, why are you feeling anxiety? Just the thought of moving in together, I feel a lot of fear that it's not going to work because of this and this. And then you start having a conversation about it. And you stay in your feminine energy. You let him lead you to understanding. And hopefully for him to realize, this is a really bad idea. And then come up with a better solution instead. And this is important, this is important whether you've got a man or whether you're single right now. If you're single, you want to be able to attract the most masculine man possible. So that, he's got his own house, he's ambitious, he's capable. He leads you into moving in with him. And if you're in a relationship, you want to be able to inspire your man into being that really masculine type of man, who can financially take care of you and emotionally take care of you in all ways. And this is where feminine energy and feminine communication and feeling work, somatic work, and work on shifting into your feminine self-worth to shift out of all your unhealthy patterns is so important. Because otherwise you're going to continue getting what you've always been getting. And of course, what we're talking about here with not enabling him in this specific situation, that's important. But if that's all you're doing, that's not going to be enough to have the kind of man that you really want and need in your life, who's fully taking care of you, who's taking on the leader role, the caretaking role, where he's cherishing you and he wants to cherish you. Not because he's people-pleasing, because he just loves to do it. He loves being in that role. He loves putting a smile on your face. He loves making your life easier. A man that you feel so much respect for, right? If he's a people pleaser, you're probably not going to feel much respect for him or attraction. You feel so much respect for him, so much attraction. You feel so much safety in your body to just fully let go and follow his lead. You trust him. You look up to him. That's the kind of man you need. And if you want that kind of man, then you need to become the kind of woman that he needs. And that doesn't mean being anyone that you're not. It means being the woman that you already are. It's just underneath your patterns, underneath your fears, underneath your low self-worth, underneath your self-judgments, underneath the patterns that you have been programmed with from birth to stay safe, to not be abandoned, to not be hurt. patterns that don't work so well at actually avoiding those things. But to your unconscious mind, you think that they will. So you stay stuck in those patterns. You need to shift all of that. That's what I'm here to help you with. I want to help you shift all of that. And just by watching these videos, you can shift a lot. Keep watching these videos. Binge watch them. Watch as many as you can. The puzzle pieces are going to click for you. And then if you really want hands-on support, you want my team and I to help support you in making these shifts and showing you how worthy you really are and showing you how to navigate all of the situations that come up, to communicate your needs and feelings and problems when there's an issue, when a man's not showing up the way that you need. That's what our Academy program's for. And if you're interested in finding out more about it, book a discovery call with me. We'll talk for free about exactly what you're going through, what you need help with, give you some coaching on how to shift. And then if you're right for the program, we'll talk all about it. Once again, that's relationshipyourdreams.com. Open up the description below this video. Watch the video on that page. Book the call with me. I will see you there, and we'll have a fantastic call. I look forward to connecting with you, finding out what's going on, and giving you some support so you can shift much closer to creating the relationship of your dreams with a man. That's it for this video. I will see you for the next one.